Welcome to the B Team, guys. Your boy Kevin. We are here for conversations that you have with your mates around the fire about anything, everything from all ratings. Let me introduce you to the crew. Today, first up, we have a person. He's done more courses than Udemy has. The complete finance pro, from BI reporting to doing your Baz. It's Ash Samuels live and in the flesh, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
Welcome, Ash.
Okay.
First time.
Thanks. Aye.
Next up, notching up two in a row potties. The Para and Arsenal tragic who believes every year is the year. The man that loves numbers and decided to make that his career. Hubert J. Saratna making it happen all the way from Sydney Zoo.
Good to be back, boys.
Welcome, Hubert.
Thank you.
And then next up, fresh from keeping the ADF well supplied. He's riding the wave of a couple of good performances. A man truly wide and blue-eyed. It's Trajan's year of the Bulldog Shah.
It's our year, boys.
And finally, the man whose FIFA banter has had many of us enraged. Fresh from the fields of the Hunter Valley, a man that is newly engaged. It's
What?
Philip Liang.
Hey.
What's up, guys?
Good stuff.
Exciting stuff, Philip.
Thanks, mate.
Wait, is that
Tell us-
legit?
Yeah, legit.
Oh, mate.
I don't know if we're allowed to announce it, Philip, but
No, too late now.
we've announced it. Tell us about this, Freaky. This is obviously the biggest news for all of us in the last 24 hours, unless someone's got something bigger. But tell us about this engagement. How did it go? Tell us about what you did, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of romantic tragics melting over your story.
Well, they happened down in Mascot. Decided to go for a helicopter ride up to the Hunter Valley. The pilot's actually really cool. He pointed out to different places, the places where Home and Away were casting. You've got places like Bondi Beach and all that stuff, all the iconic areas of New South Wales, I guess. And he just curved around the coast and then brought us up to Hunter Valley. And then we had a bit of lunch there, had a bit of wine tasting. And it was funny thing was I was supposed to be proposing before I go wine tasting, because you know how the Asian flush, not a good look. But tried to find the pilot, but to take the photos, but the pilot was missing for between 1 to 2. He was missing, so I had no choice but to go and do the wine tasting. And then halfway through, I'm just like, I had enough. I'm leaving. So I walked out the door. Me and Christine walked out the door. And he happened to be right there at the chopper at that time. So I'm like, cool. So we went ahead with a couple of photos, and then at that time my face was already red. So it didn't look too good. But took a few photos and then told her to turn it back on me for a couple of seconds, and then I just went down and then asked her to turn around, and then that was it.
I have a lot of questions. Firstly, did the pilot know that you were going to propose? Or did you just spring it on him?
No, he had an idea, but he doesn't know when. He didn't know when I was
Okay,
propose.
so he knew he had to be on standby.
He knew I was going.
So he failed his job.
Yeah,
The-
I was hoping
because of you, pilot, Philip had to get drunk. How dare you?
I was hoping
so-
to video record it, but didn't end up video recording. Just taking a few photos.
When you told Christine to turn around, did you think you guys were like playing hide and seek, or did she know what was coming?
Nah, she said when I told her to turn around, she had a feeling that was coming. But
Yeah.
I think she kind of did act a bit surprised though.
Yeah.
She had a good smiley face on. So
Well, it's good you took it to winery, because at least, it's like, say, why not?
yeah, why not?
Very super exciting news, Philip. Really pumped for you, and I'm sure we'll all get a chance to celebrate it in the style that we do. But one thing that's close to you, mate, you obviously own a small business, cafe with an E in Pemulwuy. If anyone else is keen to check it out, lots of things happening in the last couple of months: interest rate hikes, inflation, supply chain issues, and costs going up. Fuel, obviously, and there's obviously a war on the other side of the world that's impacting a lot of supplies. Tell us about it. Tell us about how tough it's been, and talk to us about some of these prices in, all your goods that have gone up and through the roof.
Yeah. So no, it's hit small businesses really, really badly. The last couple of months, last few months, I should say. Things going up. Food. Examples like vegetables and fruit, and then your beef. Your chicken's more expensive than beef as well now. So everything's gone through the roof. It's just crazy. You can't find eggs anywhere. You can't find lettuces anywhere. You go to Costco, you're trying to buy mixed lettuces, but some they're out of stock, and then some places only limit to one per customer.
Yeah,
and it's really hard to get things. And then as for the prices, everything's gone through the roof. Now you got lettuces, like everyone knows, it's gone through the roof. $8.50 for just one iceberg lettuce. You go to the market, you got $100 per box. So
when you're saying going through the roof, you send a bit of a piece of paper before. So Frankie, you're basically saying tomatoes. Yeah. At the moment, you buy it for a case of tomatoes for $60.
$60 a kilo for 10 kilos. Yeah.
That used to be $35. It's gone up 70%.
Oh my God.
Lettuce, it's not a lie. For the guys go to Woolies, you're currently buying that for $100 a case. That used to be $50. That's probably why Macca's and stuff are doing a lettuce and cabbage kind of mixture. What's the next biggest one? Cucumber. Dang. Cucumber's gone to $70 from $40.
Mixed lettuces as well.
Yeah, mixed lettuce has gone up heaps. What else? Potatoes, that's a surprise, actually.
Yeah, no, chips have gone through
$20. Yeah.
Chips has gone through gone up by $20 a box at least. So everything's gone through. I calculated earlier this afternoon. You're looking at 83 cents per burger for lettuces. Yeah. You're looking at maybe 66 cents per burger for 2 slices of tomatoes.
Yeah.
Each tomato you cut up, it's 6 slices altogether. It's $2 per tomato, roughly about $2 per tomato.
That is insane. Yeah. And you've only increased your price as well, like 50 cents, which is...
You can't increase more, man. You're going to piss a lot of people off.
Yeah. So Ash, Hubert, and Shaz as well. You guys obviously go to a lot of cafes. Hubert, you see it at where you work. Obviously, they run food as well. How have these guys? Are you guys paying extra? Are you guys paying more? What are you seeing out there?
No, we're seeing the same thing at our workplace. Like, because we need to feed the animals, we got to buy stuff for the restaurant, and prices have gone up ridiculous. And yeah, it's definitely, when you go, especially when we're trying to work on a tight budget, it hurts. But so next year's budget, we're planning for it now. So with these increased hikes, I think they are saying that prices might come down a bit when they sort of get the crops back growing properly. But we'll see. I don't know when that's going to happen. But I think for a while we're going to see these high prices.
Yeah. Ashley?
I don't think fruit and vegetable prices should ever increase. I think it should be just stock standard across it. So it shouldn't be impacted by any inflation. So I think government needs to step in and do something. It's like just basic food necessity. So whatever needs to happen, it just needs to get through. Like, there's no excuse we're in Australia, no excuse that it can't be done. So,
but I thought my understanding was the reason why all those fruits and veggies, the shortage was not because of the inflation, but because of the floods. And because those sort of fruits and veggies grow in that sort of environment, and because they got smashed in the floods, they lost all the crops.
Yeah,
and that's the reason why the price has gone up. Not because of the inflation, is my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the reason why. So I think, like what Hubert said, like once the crops are good to go, I think they'll automatically drop.
Yeah, it's an interesting point, isn't it? Because you think about your large corp like not Big Mac, Macca's and stuff like that. They obviously don't increase their prices, but large businesses and your multi-corporations have cash reserves to get through seasonal impacts like this. Whereas, you see your small businesses, just 1 week of having to do something like this can absolutely break your operating model. And, small businesses run with families. So you're seeing family livelihoods. So what do you reckon, Ash? Was that should the government step in every time there's something like this, floods and stuff like that?
If there's floods, but okay, we come from a pretty globalized economy still. We can still import stuff. When you're in London, like when I was living in London, like you get seasonal fruits all year round. Wasn't a thing. Like everything was available. I'm like, if you need bananas, go to Brazil. There's bananas there all the time. Like why can't we figure out another solution to get this across the line?
Yeah.
Why are we just waiting for our own reserves? So we tend to export everything that's good as well.
Yeah.
What about the local guys here then, right? So what are we doing this end? So
yeah. That's a great point. And I think probably a theme that's going to go from this is to support small businesses. I've definitely been, really guilty of going to your Macca's and Taco Bell's instead of going to small cafes and stuff like that. Over the last couple of days, I've really been convicted by it. So, good for anyone listening as well to go support your local small businesses. But off the back of all of this, there's obviously markets and stuff that are going down as well. Now, I'm probably the wrong person to talk about markets because I don't look at it that deeply in terms of opportunities. But with our collective minds, lads, if you were a betting man at this time, what are the opportunities that you would take if you obviously had a bit of money behind you, and where would you be investing it in any part of the world? Talk, business, shares, crypto, whatever that is. Talk to us about what you would be putting your money towards, or would you just put it under your bed and hold tight for the next 12 months?
No, this is the worst time to be holding cash. You got to invest it somewhere because inflation just ate it away. So you got to put it somewhere. I guess from my point of view, I'm sort of looking at things like shares because I guess private prices sort of tanked down a bit. That's where you find the opportunities. If you got a bit of cash behind you, it does require a lot of research, but you find decent shares with, depending on strategy, you're looking for capital gains, looking for dividends. In my case, I'm trying to look more dividend income, so looking more some good dividend shares, and we'll see if they hold. I guess the point of the game is to try to guess where it is at its lowest. So that's what I'm trying to look at it now, and when I do feel it's at its lowest, I will jump in and buy a few shares. Yeah.
I think property is the only way that's, I suppose, in the right areas, right? That's probably the only, I guess, less volatile. But like less volatile, I guess, area or sector you could call it, as opposed to shares, because you just can't predict that. Crypto again, just super volatile. It's just so much uncertainty for the next couple of years, but at least properties, like in certain areas, there's just going to be growth, regardless. Even if it's not growing at the rate you might expect it to, but it'll still grow in certain areas.
So let's flip that question. So if you had like 50 grand to invest, you can't go into the right areas, right? Like that limits to you to when you can. Right. So I think that's where like the class and type of asset matter, right? So
that's right. Yeah, with 50 grand though, I would have no idea. I'll just keep it in the bank, because like shares are just so volatile, and crypto is even worse. Yeah. So you wouldn't know what to do.
As you're a pro business, we were talking about this like a couple of months ago about our little crew and investing stuff. You're talking about buying businesses and stuff like that. Is that your go-to plan?
Yeah, I think there'll be good market to buy businesses because you think like from our the majority of peer backgrounds are in finance. We know how to control a lot of operational, areas. We can actually just trim a lot of that fat. So I think there'd be a lot of areas where businesses they're just sort of wasting money. So someone like us can actually just come back and go, do we need X, Y, and Z materials? Can we chop this out? Can we actually tighten stuff up? So I think that's where the margins are going to be.
Yeah.
And the other side is just going to be shares, but you can invest in plenty of, you don't have to go for the super risky stuff, right? There's, in the past, I've audited listed investment companies. They're actually like a full engine of people who actively go out and trade based on whatever you want. And you can actually go and look if you Google up some reports saying NTA, which stands for net tangible asset.
Yeah.
You can actually check what their dollar price is of their actual tangible asset backing and what their price is. So you can get some at a good discount already. And you've got people who are really smart into the share markets, investing in money. So there's just definitely. But yeah, businesses, I think, are a great idea. Like cleaning businesses, food businesses, there's all sorts of, like, your mowing businesses. People's grass is still growing. People are getting busier. What happens, right? So yeah.
That's a fair point. Freaky, if you had that cash, would you go again and buy another small business?
Oh, 100%.
Or would you use it to get out?
No. I'll definitely go buy another small business, I reckon. Something that you're in control of rather than having to rely on your parents or listen to your parents.
Yeah.
I tell you, family business is never the way to go unless you're really, the type of person to actually listen to your parents and not do anything unless they give the go-to. It's just really tough.
If you're reliant on them, then it makes sense. But if not, and you want to be independent, it makes it hard because the conflict and stuff is obviously tough to work through, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Good thoughts there, guys. Speaking of that, we should probably organize our next catch up, for our crew. I'll leave that to you, Shaz, to organize.
I'll do that. We'll sort it out.
He just called it out on like a proper platform.
It's on a podcast format now, so the whole world will keep you accountable.
Sounds good.
So talking about all of that, it's easy to get caught up in all the markets and get really devastated about it. But the good news is the sports still runs. And the great thing about sports is Origin 2 is around the corner. And now there's been a lot of, go Ash.
I hear it's hunting season. We're out for the fox.
Probably jump straight to that conversation then. There's been a bit of debate in our crew about how the fox has been hard done by. And I agree, he's been hard done by probably, but there's also been a lot of debate on my side about why certain individuals from the red, white, and blue fraternity deserve to keep their spots. Tell us the pro Fox arguments.
The X factor.
That's right. Just creates opportunities. Like line breaks. I get your argument, Kevin, where he's good under the high ball. But then the counter argument is that, like Fox is short, he's not great against a high ball if he's gone up against Cobbo. But then look at, To'o, for example, he's whilst he's got strong carries, but, he's got the speed and it's unmatched almost. And, he's elusive, you give him some space and, it's a fast game. And he's got the back line to sort of allow that for him to happen.
Yeah.
So... And that's what we missed essentially in the first game was, whilst DTupou had great carries under the ball and everything, but his defense was atrocious. And that's all he had was just strong carries. So I think, it's a missed opportunity, but, I really hope for our sake that DTupou just lifts and doesn't give everyone a reason to blame him because otherwise, it's sort of sucks for his confidence levels as well.
Yeah, I think you're right with the X Factor thing. I was listening to a podcast today with Cameron Smith and Denon Kemp, and they were talking about that X Factor and how I think last Origin series, the first try that New South Wales scored was like Latrell Mitchell's X Factor try. Like he created something out of nowhere, and that kind of blew the game open because something was created out of nothing. And with Mitchell missing, Turbo missing, they probably need that player in there that does something like that. And so you're probably right from that sense that, New South Wales don't really have that at the moment. Hubert, Ash, Philip, thoughts?
Yeah, I think this game, losing Wyden is a big loss because he was our best player last game. I think injuries has taken its toll on New South Wales this year. Look, I'm hoping the boys can do it. I'm a bit disappointed the two Para boys got dropped, but I think Jake Travojevic will do a good job in there. I think he's made for Origin, that kid. So let's see what they do. I'm hoping New South Wales can get the win, but there was some surprise selections in there. But let's see.
I was surprised at Madison getting dropped actually for Victor Radley, which I'm a massive Victor Radley supporter, but he hasn't played in a lot of games. Yeah, and again, I think what Fiddler's trying to get is because Victor Radley for the Roosters, if it's flat, he'll go and make a big hit, usually high. create a big link-up play or something. And that's kind of his thing that he does for the Roosters. I also think Freddie can be a bit one-eyed rooster sometimes because he's closer to those players. But, he's like that a bit with the Panthers as well because he's also got history there. Yeah. Which, it's hard to take that human element out of being a coach, I guess.
Because I do like Victor Radley, but it's just the fact that, his match fitness is untested.
Yeah.
He hasn't had that sort of contact for the past month. And it's Origin, that's not the place where you want to flip a coin and hope.
Yeah.
Where you just want someone that's in form.
Yeah. I've got some stats because I love my data, guys. In the Daniel Tupou versus Josh Ado-Carr debate, it's not skewed, I promise, but I'm trying to get through the mind of Freddie's head. All right, so these are the stats: Josh Ado-Carr versus Daniel Tupou. So, firstly, if you look at the style of New South Wales, they play very similar to a lot of teams currently, but the Panthers and Roosters specifically. Your first 3 hit-ups are your backs. Sometimes the forwards jump in, but always after your kick return, your first 3 to 4 hit-ups are your backs, and Teddy jumps in there as well. So with that in mind, Ado-Carr takes an average of 14 hit-ups per game. This is in 2022. Daniel Tupou 17 runs. Now, Ado-Carr's average meters per game, 138 versus Daniel Tupou of 165. Now, average kick returns, Ado-Carr 7 meters versus Daniel Tupou 9 meters. Errors are like for like. Ado-Carr 14 errors this season, Tupou 13. But where I think he has made the difference is why Fittler has picked Tupou is because of the height, I reckon. So Ado-Carr is 1.83 meters. It's a tiny Ado-Carr. 1.83 meters. And actually, this surprised me. How tall do you think To'o is?
He's probably
similar.
Similar. If Ado-Carr's
about 180,
that's
180,
my height.
yeah.
So
To'o is 182.
That's our height. That's my height. Holy crap.
It's crazy that Ado-Carr is just taller than To'o.
Yeah.
I wish I could say I'm in the 1.8. I'm not. So sorry, guys. I'm not in this bucket.
So Tupou is obviously over 1.9.
Yeah. Wow.
But Selwyn Cobbo and Xavier Coates, this is the last game, are both 1.91 and 1.94. So I think it's all just come down to height. I reckon Fittler is thinking, I don't want 2 short wingers, or else that leaves us open on both sides. And that's probably where he's gone down. Because I reckon Ado-Carr could probably do the same job Tupou did. He'd probably do a better job attacking, but from running it out the back, he probably could have done the same job. So there you go.
Are your stats dynamic? Because I'd like to see the stats on the last 2 games.
This is live.
Ado-Carr.
This is live.
Just the last 2 games.
Oh, he's been last 2
games.
But that's also
he just woke up and he's like, okay, I'm back. He's like,
what I like about Ado-Carr actually this season, and they're saying, he's probably done himself dirty by going to the Dogs, but you can see his leadership popping up. He's actually being vocal and loud, and he's been doing that with Storm too, but you get hidden behind, your monsters and everyone else. But you can see that with the Dogs. And I don't think Tupou's not visibly doing that for the Roosters. Because he's just a quiet guy. So there you go. There's
Jack's definitely a very extroverted guy, and you see that a lot in post-game interviews, during the team songs, where he's just really passionate. He really gets amongst it.
Who's Jack?
Josh Ado-Carr.
Oh, I thought you said, is that his nickname, Jack?
Yeah, JAC.
Oh, JAC. Yeah. I was like, we're talking about 2 different players here.
So he's definitely got that presence, and that when you're down, that you need those sort of players around you to just give you a lift. Yeah. And that makes a difference as well. And sometimes it's those little 1%ers that also help. But as a coach, that's a tough decision to make. And I wonder what's gone through his head. But speaking of X Factor though, Burton,
oh mate, he's going to be done.
I was surprised. But I'm happy for him.
Oh, he was lighting it up for Panthers when he was in centre, so I'm pumped for that.
So I hope they're using him for his kicks as well, because he's got that kick. He's one of those guys that just makes something out of nothing.
Some of the kicks he did on the weekend.
Do you reckon he'll do it under pressure or not?
I don't know.
Oh, he'll
under pressure.
He'll add another element.
Yeah, it's just the X Factor. It's just a surprise, right? You just don't know what you're going to get.
Because with me, Stags was like that. I was expecting this big X Factor show, and I was like,
Yeah.
damn, this kid's like properly buckled. I was like, it got to his head. I was like, I was hoping he'd just like do something, right? And I was like,
I think Burton will step up, being in that Penrith setup as well. Like now with Coruscant in there, mate, they should have just picked the whole Penrith team. Like, go beat Queensland for us. It just made us all like been easier for all of us. But yeah, I'm pumped, guys. Origin 2 on a Sunday as well. Everyone take the Monday off.
Yeah, that was surprising that it's on a Sunday and not a Wednesday like it's always been.
Yeah, Wednesday just feels right, doesn't it?
Yeah, like I was telling Dana the other day, I was like, it just doesn't feel right when it's not on a Wednesday.
Yeah. Speaking about sporting events on the Sundays, Canadian GP was on last Sunday. I'll put my hand up and say I didn't watch it, but I saw Verstappen did win, which was great. Hubert, you're the F1 guru in this group, bro. Tell us all about it. And does Hamilton have a chance? Because I saw he got his podium.
Yeah. So Canada. I think this is one of my favorite tracks. I think it always brings up a surprise, and this year wasn't any different. Like I think seeing Alonso back up there in the front row, qualifying it's good to see him back out the front, because I think it's been like 10 years since he's been up there. So it's good to see the old man, come back to the driving well.
I saw it was raining heaps as well the weekend, was it?
Pretty hard in qualifying. So I guess that sort of changes the grid up as well. Who's brave enough is, going to get the front.
Yeah.
And then the race, it's good to see Carlos Sainz. I think he put one of his best races in and came second. Hamilton, finally back on the podium again. So it was a good, I think it was a good race, but disappointed like my team, McLaren, had a shocker. So they both finished out of the points. But Verstappen's I think winning the championship last year has just stepped up even more again this year, and he's walking away with this title again. And I think Ferrari's making too many mistakes again, and I think Verstappen's just absolutely smashing this season. So I don't think he's got much of it. I don't think anyone else has much of a chance against him.
Is there still a break in the middle of the season where they do like massive upgrades?
They'll have the summer break in there. Yeah, they always have summer breaks.
Do you reckon Mercedes have like an upgrade package in them to get Hamilton fighting again?
They've got the potential, and I don't want Hamilton to break his record. He's won a race every season since he started in F1. So I hope he continues that this year. And I think Mercedes can do it. They got the potential. I think there will come some good upgrades, and we'll see. Hopefully Hamilton get a win by the end of the season.
The ultimate Hamilton fanboy, hey?
Yep.
Ash, do you watch it? Do you watch the F1?
A bit, but I didn't watch the Canadian one. So it's all after the Drive to Survive stuff. You got back into it again. So.
That got a lot of people into it, eh?
Yeah.
So that's what sensationalism does. They should do that for every sport.
Wow. I mean, West Tigers had something similar, but
that's a different Drive to Survive, bro.
No one's alive from that episode.
That's right.
They've all been dropped.
And finally, NBA Finals. Shaz.
That was a great game.
Is Steph Curry the GOAT?
Yeah, I think he's the next GOAT, man. He's 4 premiership in 8 years, or 8 championships they call it. But yeah, that's unreal.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. And he's only young.
Sinking threes. How old is he?
He's like mid to late 20s.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of time ahead of him.
Yeah.
For NBA players, like look at LeBron. He's like almost 60 and he's still going.
How old do they play until usually?
Until they make a Space Jam video, mate. That's how old
I think like rugby, like 30, 35, 36 even. Like I'm pretty sure LeBron's around 36 and he's still going and he's still hitting a 30-point average most games. So, and Curry's been doing that consistently every season. So that's impressive. And just hits threes like it's nothing, it just does it at ease. He's a good player, great caliber.
How old do you think Curry is? Hold on, I've just Googled him in front of my computer.
Oh,
I was going to say,
the Google.
Was he like mid-20s?
He's 34.
Oh,
and LeBron is 37. So
wow, okay,
wow, 37.
Someone aged really poorly.
Wow.
That's
he looks like a kid. Steph
He's
Curry.
not spring chicken anymore, is he?
Wait, did you look up Seth Curry or Stephen Curry?
Or did you Google chicken curry, bro?
I was just asked the lamb curry, man. It was fun.
Do you feel sad that Sadio Mane is leaving Liverpool?
Yeah, I really do. Actually, he was probably our best go-to player, I think. Very robust. Didn't need much to look after him. He was just happy where he was. People like Mo Salah,
sound like his mum talking about him, bro.
But he's robust. Look, he's been in and out without injury. You know, he there's no decoration for him. Literally, he goes in, does his work, comes out week in, week out. No, you got players like Salah demanding this and that. I prefer to let him go rather than Mane.
Oh,
it is what it is. You know, not much you can do about it.
Yeah, I think I'm the same as well. I just like Mane's work ethic. But when does the next season start?
Good question. Let's have
August, I think. Or was it July?
Yeah.
I think it's August.
No, August 6th. And then you've got the World Cup this year as well.
November, right?
Look after to it.
A World Cup to forget, I think, in Qatar. Playing in the 40-degree heat.
Team to look after, Aston Villa.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Any World Cup tips? Early World Cup tips?
I've got friends in Brazil right now.
No Australia tips. No. Interesting.
Speaking of Australia, did anyone watch that game?
I saw the highlights, man. That was unreal.
That was unreal. And just to even win those 4 consecutive games, you know, everyone wrote us off after not qualifying, and then
everyone
out of nowhere, and then out of nowhere, you know, we just pull off those 4 wins in a row, and that's impressive. That is good. That is good resilience as well to defy all the odds.
Yeah,
Zach Arnold.
That's so good. I'm so
I haven't
happy.
been following that much, but there had been a lot of criticism on the coach before, apparently.
Yeah.
So
people were saying to sack him as well. So
yeah,
that seems to be a thing, right? Like, so when does it become the coach's problem versus like management's problem? Let's get into the real.
We're talking about Tigers now.
Ash is talking with some hurt. We'll let you and Shaz talk about that, Ash. Having had 2 coaches recently sacked.
I've gone through about 6, but you know.
Well, it seems to be working for us so far.
Yeah, but yeah, you got to blame someone. You can't sack 17 players, so you're gonna have to sack one person.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not going to be the board or the CEO putting their hand up and saying it's my fault.
That's right.
That's reality. If you pay the paychecks, you're in control.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Great sesh. Good chat. Shaz, your homework is to set up that catch up, bro.
All right, now I'll do that.
Nice.
I'll chuck it in the chat.
Yeah. But good to have a couple of newbies on here. Catch up again next week. Thanks again, boys. Love yous all.
See you guys.
Hey, guys.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
Take it easy.